What's going on, y'all? Cutty from Cutty TV. We are here live at Koto Bike in Las Vegas, sitting down with the CEO, my boy Suave. What's going on, baby?
We here, man. We here, man. Thanks for coming through, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Always. When I first found out about you, I had rented for like 2 hours, and we drove all around Vegas, and it was like so popping. Like, this is probably like the fastest scooter I've driven on that's been able to be rented. So I like that.
Definitely. These things are powerful, and they're all electric. So your torque, like when you take off, it's absolutely fast. Like it gets you there every single time.
I love that. So let's just talk about the beginning ventures first. Before we get into Koto Bike, before we get into the car rentals and things of that nature, let's just start from the beginning. So like where you're from, how everything started. I mean, before the big logo, let's just start there.
Yeah, definitely, man. So my name is Sean. You know, I come from DMV area, so DC, Maryland, Virginia. I'm all mixed in. I'm originally from DC. I grew up in Maryland, went to college in PG County actually. So I'm all mixed up. But from there, basically, you know, I always been an entrepreneur. Always been a mixture of like an entrepreneur and like a party boy. So kind of like best of both worlds. So people always, you know, attracted to me. So I was always able to create brands and make cool things, create vibes, do big events, you know, bring out 2,000 people from all over my area, you know, able to have friends all over the nation, you know, from the early conceptions of social media. I was already connected with all the influencers in LA and Vegas, you know, Miami. So it was always, you know, the entrepreneur drive was always in me. So from there, I just leewayed into like, how do I turn this into dollars? You know, so, you know, from the young ages of 12, you know, I started off like a lot of other hustlers, cutting grass, you know, knocking on doors, shoveling snow, because I'm from the East Coast, of course, shoveling snow, stuff like that. And I actually had my first job at Quiznos at 12. Wow. So yeah, and this is back before like before the internet was popping. So like you could forward your little work permits, and you know you didn't really have to tell your parents you had a job. You could just tell them you was outside. So you know I was just always hustling, always trying to be legit though. You know, how do I create this balance of having high energy and wanting to make money but still being young? So I was like, I'm gonna have to just, you know, as they say, get it out the mud. So that's what I did. And then fast forward to when I got a little bit older. Once I turned about 17, 18, I went to college. I started throwing parties when I went to Bowie State, by the way. So Bowie State on the East Coast. It was just a melting pot. You know, it's a predominantly black college, so it's a melting pot for entrepreneurs that are just ready to roll. You know, they got the balance of, you know, high education, but still like that hood, rough upbringing, you know what I mean? So from there, we started to throw parties. We quickly dominated the DC, Maryland, Virginia party scene as a whole. I mean, I can say that with confidence. Like, you know, we were creating parties, creating vibes. You know, easily me and maybe two of my boys would get together, we'll collab. Every weekend, we could do 500 people. I could go up 2 hours away to Eastern Shore and bring out 1,000 people. You know, it was like a formula that we always just kept with us. And then from there, I just was always like managing different artists, you know, just working closely with a lot of artists that are really popular now, like Brent Fayaz. A lot of people don't know that. So Brent Fayaz grew up around my neighborhood too. So, and I always been a neighborhood. So, you know, I always been a neighborhood hustler. So I always have my hands in everybody's pockets. So anybody that's hot, that's in my vicinity, I don't care what high school you go to, I'm gonna know you. I don't care what sport you play, what you're doing, I'm gonna know you. So that was the same situation with Brent. You know, I was always a popular out there guy. I'll send you some clips too about, like, cause I got some ciphers. I used to do ciphers around my neighborhood. So yeah, and then I would take Brent under my wing. So like I would go to his house, you talk to his parents, convince them to allow him to do music, you know, sort of God, yeah, cause, oh my God, like, we could talk about Brent all day, cause so many situations where, you know, Brent started off as a rapper, he wasn't even singing, and he would sing, and I would just size him up, like, bro, you need to sing, like, that's you, like, you kill it. Nah, I don't want to sing. I'm like, bro, you have to sing. So I definitely take pride in, you know, definitely being one of the people in his ear, hyping him up, like, sing, you know. Another thing a lot of people don't know about Brent is Brent, when he first started doing music and all his early albums and stuff, it was all from scratch. All the beats, all the writing.
So
he would do everything.
Wow.
Yeah, that kid's incredible. And I remember seeing him from a little kid, like, you know, because he's younger than us, you know what I mean? So seeing him from a little kid just creating just from the hip. And he wasn't the most popular kid, you know what I mean? He didn't really get too many girls and stuff like that. Like, he, you know, he had a swag, but it was his own swag, you know? And so he was a little shy. And I was always tapped in with all the popular people, you know? My first girlfriend was a huge model, you know what I mean? And she, you know, I remember back in that time when Instagram first came out, we would laugh, me and my girl, about how she has a close following to Kim Kardashian, to all these, and shout out to Jada Doll, by the way, shout out to Jada Doll. So yeah, she just always had a bunch of followers. But yeah, so just to kind of bring everything in, you know, from doing those events and always mixing in the DMV with all the dudes that are coming up, I always knew I had like a greater calling, you know? I'm like, if I'm able to be in everybody's pocket, every type of like genre, white people, black people, everybody, educated, street, like wherever we at, you know, I gotta make this legit. So I jumped into real estate. Okay. A lot of people don't know that either. So my strongest background is in property management. Okay. So I've probably been doing that for 10 years now. You know, I just stopped when I opened this shop last year. But I was doing that strong for like 10 years.
How did you start that?
Yeah.
Like what made you want to pick that up?
Yeah, so property, well, you know, for me, I always looked at real estate as I should have said this from before, but I'm huge about black culture. Right. It's big in me, you know what I mean? It's one of the things that motivates me often. So like when I think about ownership and I think about like, how do I become someone bigger than just me, you know, where people can't just judge me, you know? I'm like, if I'm doing real estate projects and I have, you know, on my resume that I'm able to manage 1,000-unit property, right, or I'm able to manage Airbnbs, which I've always had. I have rental properties here in Vegas. Right. I've always had rental properties or Airbnbs, and I knew that I could take pictures of them too. It's something I could hold, you know, like I could show people, I could add this to my website and, you know, grow off of my resume.
Right, just grow like your portfolio.
Exactly. And I knew, and it's a way to hold my money too, you know, and to grow my money or to take money out. Because, you know, another thing is, my dad would always tell me growing up that, you know, that me being a black male, that it's going to be harder for me to go to the banks and get money. It's going to be harder for me to, you know, duck fines and getting like tickets and stuff for small infractions. So he always was, you know, showing me how to, like, you need to buy something so you can hold it, and if you need to, you can sell it. Right. So real estate is just the biggest way my brain was to go, you know. So, you know, after getting into property management, it always took me throughout my life. Like I always dabbled in it some way. And then shortly after my stint in DC, you know, just going ham with everybody out there with the party scene, my cousin, who's another heavy hitter, shout out to Chris Powell, heavy hitter out of the DMV area, was doing real estate down in Miami. And, you know, at the time, Buddy was rocking. I mean, he's rocking now. I'm talking about, he got Ferrari and everything. Yeah, I'm talking about. He's only like 30. Yeah, he's rocking. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But he basically was doing so well. And I always looked up to him that, you know, when he invited me to come down to Miami, I'm like, man, it's time for something bigger.
Right.
You know, I need to expand.
It's time for something new.
Yeah. You know, because I already dominate this area the way I looked at it. Right. So I need something new now. Right. So when I got down to Miami, I fell in love. I still think Miami is the best place in this nation. It's the absolute best place. Man, I mean, seriously? It's the best. Okay. Yeah, because I'm half Costa Rican too. Okay. Yeah, just like JB. Yeah. Okay. So we Costa Rican. So like, you know, we always grew up super tropical, right, super just like, you know, just loving our culture and family and embracing each other, you know. So, you know, when I moved down there to rock out with my big cousin, he just opened up a whole wide world to me. Like, that was the first time that I was really around, like, I mean, I was around a lot of A-list celebrities before, but like current, like Travis Scott,
right. Like this was like just at a more intense level.
Yeah,
like.
It was getting there. It was really getting there. Like, he would just know all the influencers. I remember one time I was down there with my girl, and I would just text him like, cuz I want to go to the club. Whatever the biggest club is down there right now, I can't really remember it. But he basically was like, yeah, cuz you should go to this club. And when you get there, just say your name at the door and you'll be fine. I'm thinking I'm gonna definitely get pressure. Like how me, this little guy in this big city, how am I not gonna get no pressure? But sure enough, he was plugged in enough. So, you know, he basically created a situation where I could just, you know, flourish in Miami. So I started a cleaning company out there. And well, right before the cleaning company, I was a broker. So like I always did like stuff that would push the ante where I could still add it to my resume, but I could still make money to fund other dreams and still add that to my resume. So worked as a broker for a while, made a bunch of money because of the industry that it is. So within like 6 months to a year, I started a cleaning company. And then from there, I grew that company easily within 1 year from 0 customers to 300 customers that first year, no cap. Yeah, and I was hiring people. Yeah, and it was like all high rises. And you know, it was again another company that was close to real estate because if you have rental properties, you need cleaners. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then also people love to see luxury. Yeah. So I'm coming from the DMV, I'm down in Miami now. Every single day I can go into 57th floor, you know, high rises, penthouses and take photos and post them. And people are like, wow, you know? So it was always about the motivation too. And then, you know, from there, like the cleaning company, it kind of like kept expanding my brain more too. Like I started to look at money differently. Like, you know, instead of wanting to make $20 an hour or $20 plus a commission, I'm like, if I can make $100 an hour, then I'm moving better, you know? So
life is definitely different when you're making $100 an hour.
Right. So, yep. So basically that's kind of how it went. And then, you know, leading up to that experience with the cleaning company, I ended up having my daughter. So I was doing super well at the cleaning company, still super immature though, still outside. I was like definitely that guy, like always in the clubs and the parties, you know, networking with some of the biggest, again, heavy hitters in the nation to this day. You know, I'll be with them every day, you know, driving Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, like I was really in it, you know. And it was rewarding again because I was young. I'm still young now, but like it was real vivid for me. You know, it was something that I'm like, oh man, I could really do this. So once I got the girl pregnant, shout out to my BM. Once I got my girl pregnant, I needed to figure out like how I was going to balance like being this playboy / entrepreneur with having a daughter, starting a family, becoming a man for real. So I ended up just, you know, first I sent her and my daughter to Vegas to live with my mom, which was tough, but I had to do what I had to do at the time. And then about 1.5 years after, I made my way out here to Vegas. So, and then from there, once I got to Vegas, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I hit rock bottom. I ain't gonna bullshit you. Cause I'm sorry, I don't remember, but it hit me bad. You know, it hit me like, am I cool still? I'm totally out of my element. I don't got big cousin in Miami. I just got my mom out here. I'm moving backwards in life. You know, I gotta move in with her because I don't really know what's going on out here. And at the time, Vegas wasn't paying nothing. So I remember I would like go on job, you know, like what do you call them? I was about to say job tours, but interviews and stuff. And like at the interviews, they would offer me like $9 an hour at like AT&T, like $9 an hour plus commission. I'm like, absolutely not. I can't do that. Like, you know, and I had abandoned my cleaning company back home back in Miami because the pressure was too much for my young, immature body. Even though I was always an entrepreneur, I was too immature to handle the new baby, having to get a new scenery. So I just ran from Miami, basically. I left all my customers hanging. So any of my customers that see this too, like, sorry, I did really love you guys, and y'all know I did, but it's life. So basically that's how it went. And then from there, once I got out here, I just went harder, and then I started this company.
Yeah, Koto Bike.
Yeah, started Koto Bike.